Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Anime-Zing Radio right here on YouTube. Anime-Zing Radio is brought to you tonight by Home Circle Media, for the latest and greatest in anime gear, everything from pens, pencils, stationery, and officially licensed art books. Be sure to check out homecirclemedia.com today or look for them at an upcoming convention near you. We're also brought to you tonight by Casey Fox. For all of your artwork, cosplay, and photography needs, be sure to check out Casey Fox. That's KAYCIFOXX on Facebook and Instagram. Once again, good evening, everybody. I'm your host, Doug Engler. Joining me in the co-host seat, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Darren Starlin.
Hello.
And we are honored to be joined by a fantastic guest. And surprisingly, she's been a guest on the show many times, but this is the first time that we have seen her face-to-face via camera. And please give a warm welcome to Bryn Apprill.
Hi, guys! I'm so excited to be back! This is crazy!
It is, and things have been nuts, I'm sure, for you as well as it has been for us. It's been quite a few years since the last time that you joined us. And for our listeners out there who may not know you, because they may be new to anime, or they're like many fans, they know the voices, but not the people who create them. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Bryn Apprill, and I voice some of the roles that you may recognize are Historia or Krista, aka from Attack on Titan. As we see in Doug's little frame there, we have Koten Itsuka from Day Day Life. I pointed the wrong way. I would like to do this. And Hiyori from Noragami. I don't know. Name some of your babies. Shirahoshi from One Piece. Meldy from Fairy Tail. Just to name a few. Yeah. Some that are going on right now. We have I from Zombieland Saga Season 2 happening right now.
I have to get back into watching that because I have not seen the second season yet. I'm behind.
You gotta get on it. It's still doing it this time.
I love the original Zombieland Saga, so I am planning on watching it. I've just been between working, and of course we have a big convention coming up next weekend. For those of you out there who are curious, there will be no live Anime-Zing Radio next weekend due to the fact we will be at Kineticon covering his press. We may do some live broadcasting from Kineticon if I can figure out internet and camera availability, and we'll have some press conferences going on in the morning, so you may get a lot of bonus content from the weekend next weekend, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely keep an eye on the channel. We're going to do interviews with cosplayers, vendors, and if we can, the guests as well. And
Scoop.
that little bob and weave, and that's the trouble now. I'm on camera and I forget that now, because for 7 years we had no camera. We were strictly audio. So now all of our fans out there, all of you wonderful listeners and viewers out there can see just how much of an idiot I am on camera, as opposed to just hearing it.
Well, hey, I can relate. I have the same struggle. I'm not used to people seeing my face.
And, you know, I have to say, since the last time we talked, I have seen that you have done some awesome characters out there, including one of the cutest shows that has come out in the last couple of years, Nekopara. You voiced Chakala.
Yes. Oh my gosh. The cutest little kitty cat. Kitty cat.
I almost got a Chakula figure the other day, or about a month or two ago, but something else caught my eye beforehand. So, but Chakula is on my list of figures to go after. Her and Vanilla.
Chakala and Vanilla, yeah, little Chakala Vanilla action, yeah. Oh my gosh, I loved that show. It's just such feel-good energy the entire time.
And we have so many awesome people in the chat room. We'll start off with one of the chat questions going on.
Awesome.
Robbie says, "Hi, Bryn. Can you give us some Akano Hijima? Also, do you have anything where we can send something for you to sign?"
Not sure about the first part. I think that might be a little bit of confusion. But as far as sending something to sign, yes, you can actually either send it to Funimation and they will send it to me, or you can go ahead and if you have something that you would like signed, you can email my convention email and connect with me for something like that. That's fine. I do accept emails about getting things signed.
Awesome. And I love seeing all of you out there in the chat room. I love seeing an active chat room. It's so great to see a lot of new names in here. Bobby Break has asked, what do you think the best anime of all time is, and why is it Interviews with Monster Girls?
I love that. No dispute. I mean, hey, I don't even have to answer the first part. Yes, no disputing that. I absolutely love doing that show. I mean, it was literally just freedom to express all of me into a character, and all of my energy just poured into just this bouncy little bubbly vampire baby. I mean, it was great. And that's probably why I'm so attached to the show, is because it is literally me being me and interacting with people that I absolutely adore, who are being themselves as their characters, especially Chris George playing Teach. And it's our dynamic as these two characters, and same with the other characters, and I love it, and that's why it holds such a special place in my heart. And you get to see this as the anime goes on. You get to see our dynamic as people portrayed in these characters that are quirky and fun, and it's such a great story, and there are so many great messages in it. And I mean, we all just went all out in these characters because we had so much fun in it. And so it's really, really great work from everybody involved, because we loved the characters and we loved the show.
Oh yeah, that was a fantastic show. You killed it as her. She was such a fun character. Hikari. She was like, you turned a little vampire girl into such this adorable, like, almost like you want to make her a little sister.
Oh, thank you. And she is. Himari, my teeth are itchy.
And Mario, one of our loyal listeners for a long time, asked, got a question for Bryn. In what ways do you think you've grown as an actress compared to when you first started out with Data Live way back? We kind of talked about this before going on the air.
You're psychic, Mario. I mean, we literally were having this discussion because I saw the pointed the wrong way again. I saw the little Kotori figure and we were talking about it. And it's so sad because I love Kotori, but I can't watch the first season because whenever I watch it, I'm just like, I did bad. She sounds horrible. I should have read that line differently. Like, and I just critique myself so harshly because it's back. It was one of my first characters. I think it was, I did Melody and then I did Kotori, and that was the first work I had ever done in front of a mic ever. And so it was constantly me doing a read and then looking at Joel for approval. Like, was that okay? Like, I was just so panicked the entire time trying to get these perfect reads that I just, I was so insecure. And it just, now I'm a little more confident in myself, and I've kind of found my acting style for mic work. And so listening to it, I'm like, no, I could have done so much better. I mean, it's not bad. I feel like now, I really wish I had a take 2 for this character for season 1 because I just want it to be perfect. And it's sad because I know a lot of people really love Day Day Live. And so I'm like, I just want it to be perfect. So I can't watch season 1.
And I think a lot of people feel that way. I know many artists, they look back at their old artwork and go, oh my God, that looks like crap.
Exactly.
I can do so much better now.
Yeah.
And it's part of growing, like you said, as your career has gone on, because we're talking Data Live is over 7 years ago now.
Yeah.
And 7 years in anything is a lot of time of growth.
Right.
And on the subject of Data Live, we had this question come through from Robbie. Are you for Data Live season 4?
Heck yeah. Oh my gosh. I am for more seasons of anything. I'm never going to say no to another season of a show. I am always for my babies coming back. Always, always, always.
And our listeners out there must be psychic, because we talked about this a little bit before going on the air. Are you ready for Show by Rock Stars?
Yes. Especially, I am ready for Cyan. Come back. I love Cyan. I love Sanrio. And Cyan was just this pure happiness. Like, anytime I got to go into the booth for Cyan, I would always come in and I was like, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good today. But I would leave feeling like today is the best day ever. And so I am always up for more Cyan. Always, always, always.
And with Cyan, that had to have been a fun role for you, because in the English dub, it's one of the very few animes ever where the songs got English dubbed and you got to sing as well.
Yeah. I remember, like, I think the first time I ever sang was for Red Data Girl, but the song didn't end up getting to be used for the anime because we had trouble separating some of the J elements from, like, in the track. And so nobody ever got to hear it. And we did the dub of the song and everything. And we were so devastated because it sounded so great. And we spent so much time doing it. But then the first time that I ever really got to do, like, intensive song work for a show is for Show by Rock. And it was such a blast. I mean, I was, like, terrified the entire time because singing is something that's very personal to me and that I'm such a perfectionist over, and that I'm like, it has to be so good. I don't want to put anything out that isn't, like, perfect. And so it was a work in progress. I definitely drove the music director a little bit crazy. Like, can I do another take? Can I do another take? And they were like, Bryn, it sounds fine. We're keeping this one. So, I mean, it was a process, but I mean, I loved every minute of it. And the songs are amazing. And I still get them stuck in my head to this day. But yeah, and now with Zombieland Saga, we got to do more singing. And I just love anytime I get to sing for a show. And the songs are all bops. It's great.
And I'm sure, like a lot of the voice actors that we've talked with recently, when the pandemic hit, you all had to change what you knew of being ready for voice acting. Instead of going to a studio, you now had to prepare an area of your home so that you could record from home. How much of a change was that for you? And what was it like to have to, accommodate and adjust to your home to do this stuff? And are you ready for when, things get back to quote unquote normal and you're able to go back to the studio to record again?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for a while, there was a little period where we didn't work and everyone was just kind of like, we were all hurting. But then we did something that was really a switcheroo for us. Well, for most of us. But we actually got these actor kits where we had this weird little setup where basically the actors were doing sort of baby engineering on their part. We were doing some basic placing, and we kind of had to have that eye for, okay, is this line gonna work for these flaps and stuff like that? We had to kind of see that stuff, stretch it, squish it, and make sure that everything was going to be roughly okay to do some last minute editing by professional engineers, because we weren't really able to be in booth. And so we had these actor kits, and we were kind of doing this I was in my closet from home. We were doing it from home. And so that was a little bit of a learning curve. And then we were able to move to Source Connect, where things were back in the engineer's hand. And that's what at least what I'm still doing now is Source Connect. And so that's basically where we have the director and the engineer, and I just focus back on my acting again. And there's no more of that, okay, let me check if this is going to work. Let me check if this is going to, okay, I need to adjust it. Oh, let me cut and like finagle this to see if it's going to work, because otherwise we're going to have to come back and get some pickups. And that's going to be a whole nother session. But so now it's much easier, and we're seeing everything real time. And I don't know when we're going to come back into the studio. I guess that depends on a lot of things, but yeah, I'm still working in my closet, and it's weird. But I'm used to it now, and I've got my little booth buddy. My doggy comes in there, and he burrows under my clothes, and he chills in there with me while I record. But so I mean, he loves it. I'm home most of the day, so.
Oh yeah,
it's definitely going to be a weird adjustment going back in. I'm sure my baby ain't gonna like it too much, and I have to wear pants again.
And it, I've said many a times on the show, hats off to the directors, the engineers, all the people behind the scenes that help to put these shows together, between the script writers, the sound people, and everybody, because there's a huge team outside of the voice actors that work really hard that don't see a lot of the congratulations or the love that they deserve to have, because you see a quick blurb of them scroll by in the credits, and that's about it. And I'm sure as a voice actress yourself, when you had to start figuring out how do I cut and paste and move this, and learning some of the technological side of it, it gave you more of an appreciation for what they did, because now you had some hands-on experience.
Yeah, and I mean, I especially appreciated during that time. They were so patient, and if we were like, I can't tell, like, if this is gonna work, I don't know, or like if I was like, I clicked something, I have no idea, like they were like, okay, what is it saying? They were so patient the entire time, and because really everybody was hitting this learning curve, and they were still right there with us the entire time, and made sure that the product that came out was seamless. And so it was really all because of them. Yeah.
And Death Metal in the chat says, if you had enough money, would you purchase an in-home booth?
If I had enough money and if I had enough space, yes, I would. But right now I have neither.
I know the feeling.
The closets, it's working. No one knows. I mean, you can't really tell a difference. And a lot of that is just, mic quality, making sure that you don't have any stuff running. And if you have something that makes a noise, you get another take. So again, patience, and making sure that you have equipment enough to make it sound decent quality.
Oh, definitely. And I know Funimation was one of the companies out there that when the pandemic hit, it took them some time, but they had given out quite a few voice actor kits, including tablets and mics and things like that, to the people who needed it. And whether you like Funimation or hate them, there's people on both sides of the fence for things that have happened outside of the anime creative world themselves that people didn't like. But, hats off to Funimation for being proactive and being like, our fans want us to continue. And they came up with an idea and being able to give out, I think it was over 130 voice actor kits to this people. So, got to throw a lot of love out there. I love me a lot of the Funimation titles, and we personally, I subscribe to Funimation, Crunchyroll, High Dive, Hulu, and Netflix, so I can watch almost anything out there.
That's the world we're living in now.
I don't have cable. I subscribe to anime channels, so.
And it's still cheaper than a cable subscription.
It is. That's true. That's very true.
And in the chat room, Mario asks, what was it like working on New Game with the Great Megan Shipman? And for those who don't know, Bryn voiced Nene, who is Alba's best friend in New Game. And Lord knows, I love that anime.
I loved playing Nene. She was such a hoot. Oh my gosh. What a little oddball. I mean, I can relate. I feel like I might have been a little bit typecast. but I love playing those roles. I love when I can just like come into the booth and it's like, okay, weird out. And I'm like, oh, good. I can really push the boundaries and it's not like, okay, that was a little too much. Rein it in a little bit. And it's just like, nope, just let loose. I mean, that's when you can really just have absolute fun and just do the weird reads, the weird quirky reads. That's the best.
On that note, I'd like to bring up a show you did in the past. Roka from Defrag.
Ah! Yes! They could, oh my gosh, they could totally be twins. Nene and Roka, the hair, yes. I mean, same thing, yes. I mean, little demon baby, yes. I mean, when else could you, like, what other character puts on a stash and shades and can you be like, oh, yes, this is my man director voice. Ha, ha, ha. Like, I mean, you don't get to do that with every character, like you see the cute little anime girl and it's like, hi, blah, 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 blah. But when you get one that's willing to push the limits and be like, I am a man now, director stash, and you get to be weird. It's such a joy. It's such a pleasure.
And another question from Robbie saying, Bryn, did you know that you have been saying Coterie Cannon's Megalo are wrong? Megiddo are wrong. Also, I have to hit the hay, but I should see you this weekend, Doug, in Hartford. So hopefully, Robbie, we can see you in Hartford and meet up. Would love to get to chat with you. For all of you out there who are curious, make sure you hit the subscribe button. When we hit 200 subscribers, we're doing a giveaway where one lucky subscriber is going to be able to sit in for a voice actor interview. And we've got some great voice actors that are coming up. Right after Kineticon, like I said, next weekend we are going to be in Connecticut, live at Kineticon. Coming back September 19th, we have Macy Ann Johnson is going to be joining us. And then September 26th is Anthony Bowling. So we've got some great people that are going to be joining us. If we can hit that 200 subscribers before the 19th, you may have a choice between Macy or Anthony. So let's keep the people liking the show, following us. Love seeing everybody in the chat room. This is the most active the chat room's been in a while. So hello to everybody out there. Thank you for tuning in. We love seeing you guys in there. Keep coming with the questions. I know Bryn appreciates the love from the fans as much as we love seeing the fans give her the love.
For that, we try to do our best with pronunciations, but a lot of times there will be some times where we see conflict in pronunciation, where maybe there is some word where it's like, oh, we kind of see how we think it should be pronounced, but when we hear the J, because remember, we are working off of the J. We have the J, and we hear how they pronounce it, and it's the J's show. So we're going to do our best to honor the J's pronunciation for the words that they're using, and for the spells, for the weapons, for the names of towns, for the characters' names. We're going to honor that. So we'll listen to that and we'll replicate it. Yeah. So if we see a word that we're like, okay, that's Greek, that's Latin, blah, 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 you know, we may see that and we may be like, we think it's this, and we'll do our research and we'll look it up and we'll hear that pronunciation. But if the J is doing it a certain way, we want to keep consistency, and we're going to honor the J.
And I'm not going to say anything about pronunciation wrong because I mess up names all the time. I'm horrible at that.
No.
And Darren, you said you had a question for Bryn.
Yep. I know you didn't have a main role in this anime, but it's an anime that we started a little review session of every week or so. We try to do a review of an anime, one that all three of us have seen, and give our honest opinions about it. Now, you didn't have a major role in this one, but this was the one we picked for the weekend. Do you remember much of working on Death Parade?
Yes. Oh my God. I do. Is it just...
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Darren.
Well, I was going to say, with your involvement in the show, did you end up watching the series yourself, or did you voice that one character only, and then that was the end of your involvement?
No, I did watch the series, and I was like, I was just sort of like, wow, our episode that we did is not representative of what the show is like at all. It was kind of that like one like little love episode of like, oh, good feelings, yay!
Oh, you mean like the opening is the most misleading thing in the whole series?
Yep, it's a little bop, ain't it?
And because of how crazy my work schedule has been, plus getting ready for Kineticon, not just to cover as press, but my wife is also going to be in the masquerade. Mm-hmm. And so she has 4 days or 5 days to make a cosplay. We got the stuff Friday night, and she's got till Wednesday before going to work to finish it. So I haven't had much time of focusing on shows. In fact, I think last night I caught up on Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid and Drugstore in Another World, and that's all I've seen all week.
That's better than me. I'm only caught up on Slime.
But I did see episode 3 where your character is in there, and like you said, it's kind of a feel good story. And going in for a show like that, because like somebody like me, I know you for the cutesy characters, the Nenes, the Coteries, and Chakalas, and that was more of a serious role for you. Do you prefer some of the roles like that and wish that you could have more roles for a longer period of time than one episode? Or do you like the funner, goofier characters?
I enjoy both. I enjoy playing the fun, goofy, quirky characters because it's uplifting. It puts you in a good mood. And you can push your limits. You can try weird reads that you normally wouldn't for typical characters. But I feel like more dramatic shows and dramatic characters or villains are more challenging for actors, and I appreciate those challenges and I enjoy taking on those challenges, and in a way I feel like they're more rewarding and I feel more proud of the work I do. I love the quirky, weird characters. Like, they hold a special place in my heart. But the work that I do for the dramatic characters and for the characters like villains, or the characters with really emotional backstories, or that go through a lot of emotional development or character development, I feel like that work I'm more proud of. Yeah. So it's complicated.
On that note, another question about another series you were in, kind of lesser known, and more people tend to focus on one particular show of the science adventure series. But I believe you played Hine Arimura in a Chaos Child.
Yes.
I know that's one of the more psychological type shows. And she was a character that was good at being perceptive of the people around her. So what's your opinion on those type of characters?
I mean, I personally, I really love like that kind of genre. I love sort of like the creepy, like, ooh, sort of genre. And I always love like characters where you have to like really delve into their psyche and really think about how you're gonna, how should I say this? Think about your reads and where they're coming from. And so, yeah, I really enjoy characters like that. Same like with villains, for example. When you're playing a villain, you can't think of them as a villain. Everything that they're doing has to be logical to you. So when you're reading it, you can't like amp up the villainy and be like, ha ha ha, I'm having so much fun, because what they are doing, what they are saying makes sense, and what everyone else is doing doesn't. And so to you, it's like, I don't understand you people. You people are crazy. How are you not reacting like me to this situation? Because what I'm doing makes sense. You're crazy. And so you have to put yourself in that mindset for the reads. And I love thinking like that. And so, yeah, that's, I don't know if that makes sense.
One show that, because I use the cheat sheets here of like Anime News Network and sometimes Behind the Voice Actors, but Behind the Voice Actors I found has had a lot of wrong information recently, which is
not usually up to date. They'll leave off a lot of stuff as well, unfortunately. Yeah.
And I saw where people were asking about High School DxD, but I don't believe that you were in that. You definitely weren't Akeno in High School DxD.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious where they got that information, because that is not right at all.
But one show I did want to ask about that was coming up from the Anime News Network was To Love Ru, where you voiced Serenji. What was it like to be a part of that show?
That was I haven't really done a lot of work with Sentai, and the two shows that I have done with them were directed by the fabulous David Wald. And it's kind of one of those shows that's a little edgy, and he had this way of making it very comfortable, and he made it to where it was like, yeah, it's a little edgy, but we're gonna have fun with it. And so I really appreciated that from him, and he's just such a wonderful director. And it was again one of those characters that was very much a, oh my gosh, oh no, Rito, are you okay? Like that kind of thing. And like, so it was very much in the wheelhouse. It wasn't a hard voice to get into. And so I was able to just kind of ease into the reads and just have fun with it, which was really our goal for the show, is just have fun with it, just really lean into everything and just have a ball. And so that's what we did. We were just like, we're gonna make this fun for ourselves because it is a little and so we're gonna have fun. And so it ended up being a really fun series to work on, and a lot of that was because of David, and I so appreciate him. He's wonderful.
And I know we talked a little bit off before coming on the air, but Haru has come to visit.
Oh, hi, baby. Hello. Oh, my goodness. Oh, you getting a snuggle? Oh, you getting a snuggle? Oh, that's nice. Oh, you're sleeping.
I don't think you can hear her, Haru, but she is saying hello to you because I know you want the attention right now.
I started talking like that, and my dog thought I was talking to him.
All right, Haru. You got to go play now.
Yeah,
It's show off your pets time.
mine's at my parents.
Oh, Mr. Pete, don't do it. No, this is Mr. Pete. He's the cutest Pete that ever did Pete. Yes.
And Death Metal had another question in the chat. Lately, I've been watching anime outside of Funimation. Which anime voice actors have you met or know of outside of Funimation?
Oh, I can tell a really funny story. It's really bad. So this was back when I was a little 17-year-old baby, and I was super insecure, and I had no confidence, and I didn't know how to handle big people world, and I was like kind of in this mindset of everyone's so much better than me and I have no right to be here and I don't know how to interact with everybody because they're amazing, and I'm just like, what am I doing here? And so I went to my first con, and one of the guests there was Crispin Freeman, and so I obviously I already knew who he was, and I had absolutely no intention of meeting him because how dare I ever meet Crispin Freeman? That would be absurd. And so I had full intention of being a wallflower and not talking to anybody because I didn't know what the heck I would have any idea I would say. I would just stand there like an idiot and be like, yes, hi. It would be a train wreck. So I was not going to do that to myself. I was not going to make a fool of myself because I knew that's exactly what would happen, and it was. So someone with the absolute best of intentions decided they were going to introduce me, and it went absolutely awry. He is lovely, and we introduced ourselves, and I panicked because, you know, we went through the basic pleasantries of like, hi, I'm me. Hi, I'm me. How are you? Did you have a good con? Yes, blah, 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 blah. And then we hit the what now? And we were still standing there. And I was like, you're so pretty. And I just was like, no, Bryn, no. And then I just, and, you know, like, Sarah thought I was so cute. And Crispin was like, oh, that's so cute. And I was like, no, Bryn, no. I just wanted to die. I was like, you're so pretty. No, I just wanted to go away. I was like, this is why I shouldn't talk to people. This is why I'm not allowed in public. This is why I shouldn't meet. It was bad.
Now, I haven't really had too many fanboy moments in front of voice actors. I have like two I can think of. Of course, first time that I ever interviewed a voice actor was way back before I started this show. I was a co-host on a show called Crossing the Void Radio. And our guest for that Wednesday canceled Sunday night because of a family emergency. And on a wing and a prayer, I sent a message out to the lovely Sheremy Lee.
Mhm.
Found out and got her in contact with our booking producer. And Wednesday at like 1:00 in the afternoon, I was told everything's all set for an 8:00 show that night. Sheremy was going to come on, probably hang out half hour, maybe hour tops, because she's got to get ready for Anime Boston that weekend, leaving the next day to head to Boston. What we didn't know was she was also in the process of signing papers on a new apartment. So when she joined us, it was right after signing the papers, sitting in her car before going to her friend's house to get her stuff and figure everything else out for Anime Boston. And when the timeline was, I'm at work, 1:00. Okay, everything's all set. Get home, leave work at 6 p.m. Home about 6:30. I have an hour and a half to promote this show. Then I hear her voice, and like knowing that everything in 3 days came to fruition, and the relief, and I was just like, oh my God, Bryn, I'm such a big fan. I love you. It's like the word vomit came out, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And the host of the show to this day still picks on me about that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then the most recent one was the last time that we had Marissa Lenti on the show, because I'm a huge fan of Kuma 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 Bear. And that was her first like big lead character role, she said. And so being able to talk with her about that, the fanboy came out. And I felt like, and you feel like an idiot when it happens, but it's like, you know what, we're human. You know, I know that there are a lot of times I hide it. Like now I've gotten better where I can just keep it on the inside, and then afterwards, like, oh my God. So I'm sure you feel that way about some of the people that you've met. You're like, okay, I've been here long enough. It's still amazing to meet these people, but I can, act calm and collect it on the inside. And then when we walk away, we freak out.
I for the most part, but I'm incredibly socially awkward. I have really bad social anxiety, which I don't know how I can do cons. I feel like I just put on this like I am brave persona, and it's different when it's like a bunch of people that I'm like, I probably won't see you again. It's wonderful. It's okay. And when it's like not one-on-one, like when I'm doing a panel, it's fine. It's fine. But when I'm at a party, I don't go to parties because I know that it'll be really bad. Because I'm like, I'm going to go sit in this corner and not talk to anyone is usually what I do, because I don't know how to keep conversations going. Like, I just can't do it. I panic because I'm like, what do I say that doesn't sound bad or weird or like that will make them think that I'm interested? Like, I overthink things. I overanalyze. And so usually I manage, because most conversations are in passing in the hallway, or they used to be, at least back when we were in hallways together. But every once in a while, things go bad. And they live in your head, don't they?
Yeah.
You remember them, and they haunt you, and it's just so unfortunate. Like, I remember one time I met Brandon Potter for the first time at Okratron, and I heard his voice down the hallway first, and I was like, and so I knew who it was, but I was in a different room, and I was like, oh my God, I get to watch him walk by. That'll be cool. And I thought that was going to be the extent of the interaction, was I'll watch him walk by. That'll be awesome. But he had heard me recording, and so he knew the room I was in, and we had just finished working on a show together, and we'd never met. So he decided to be a normal human being and introduce himself. And I was like, did not anticipate that. No, I was not prepared. And so he was like, hey, yeah, I just heard your voice. I think we just worked on a show together. I'm Brandon Potter. And I was like, oh my gosh, hi, it's so nice to meet you. And we were shaking hands and he was like, what's your name? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm Bryn Apprill. It's like, yeah, that's what you do when you meet someone. You say your name, right? It's just, I don't social well.
Now, we were talking also before coming on the air how you had come on as a co-host many years ago for a cosplayer interview of somebody who had cosplayed Cyan. What is it like to have the fans kind of like fangirl over you as opposed to because a lot of people who attend the conventions are socially awkward, the anxiety, things like that. And I'm sure a lot of the fans out there feel comfort knowing that sometimes it's the same for the voice actors as well. Because as a normal fan, a lot of times, even before doing this show, I would look at voice actors and be like, you guys belong on the pedestal up here and I'm way down here. And I just marvel at the work that you do. And obviously after 7.5 years of doing this, it's like, you guys are just normal people. And we love to bring you guys on so that the fans can be like, these are the people who create the voices of the characters that you've grown to love. Get to know Bryn Apprill, not just Kodori Itsuka.
I mean, I think as someone who is incredibly socially awkward, I do really well interacting with people who are also very socially awkward. And I think that's why it works so well. I mean, because something you gotta remember is what we do for a living is we go stand in a dark box in front of a sole mic, and then we only have to interact with 2 other people, the director and the engineer, and that's what we do. We interact with 2 people. That's our job. And we make funny voices. So it is the perfect job for someone who does not interact with people well. I think that's something that people forget. We're not like, famous film actors that constantly deal with like a bunch of people. And I mean, some of us are. Some of us do venture into the film world. But I mean, yeah, I think the reason it works is because it's like, oh, you're super awkward? I get you. It just works.
Like we have something in common.
Yes.
And fun little story. If half the people I went to high school with knew I did this show, they probably wouldn't believe me because in high school, I was socially awkward. I was quiet. I was shy. I was like middle tier. I wasn't picked on, but I wasn't popular. So I was just kind of existed through most of my school life. And I look back now and be like, I know so many amazing people and I've had such incredible experiences because I broke out of a comfort zone. Looking back, it's been a long road and it's crazy to think that Paranormal Talk Radio led me here. Talking about ghosts and UFOs led me to an anime show.
That's so cool. I mean, same for me. I was total complete wallflower. I had these are my 2 friends. Yay! That was totally me. And it's like, yep, now I go do cons and it's weird. It is weird. And I've had, people reach out that I have no idea who they are. And they're like, hey, I heard you do this now. And I'm like, yes. It's kind of strange. And it's just, yeah, I understand. I totally get it. But I think another thing that is really great about having people that really the awkward anxiety stuff resonates is when you get the fans that do kind of just panic and freeze up, and you can tell that they were waiting for so long to meet their, the actors or the artists or anything at the con, but then they kind of have that anxiety thing creep up. Is we know exactly how to handle it and how to work through it because we've been there and we've dealt with it. And I've definitely had that happen. I've had fans that start having the panic that sets in and the anxiety and we take a little time and they're able to move on to the next booth feeling better than when they got to me. And it's nice having that interaction and knowing that like, it's like, hey, I get it. I am the same wavelength here. Like it's good, I think, having that same dynamic.
And more questions coming in from the chat room. And again, keep the questions coming. We love seeing the active chat room. Big thank you to everybody who's tuned in tonight. Bobby Break asks, are any shows you are in that you can currently talk about?
Yes. Like I said, we're doing Zombieland Saga 2 currently, the second season. And we got more and I'm doing some some bits here and there, and then I have one thing that I can't talk about yet. It's really freaking cool. I can't say anything about it. And as soon as I can, you best believe I'm gonna be boom, 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 posting it everywhere. But as of right now, I can't say anything. But something that's not show related per se, but that I am sort of presently doing is I have just acquired a gaming PC, and so I'm going to be doing some streaming for gaming, and that will be happening in the coming like couple weeks. So that'll be cool. I'm probably gonna suck, but yeah, keep an eye out for that.
Is that going to be on Twitch?
Yes.
I'm going to have to subscribe. I got another channel to follow on Twitch.
I'm going to play all the spoopy games. It's going to be great. You can see me freak out.
We did do some Twitch gaming for a little bit, Darren and I, before my computer crapped the bed and I had to like rebuild one poorly. The computer I have now, it works, but it doesn't have a video card, so I can't play many games. But we did a lot of like Bloons Tower Defense 6. I played Stardew Valley and some of the other like easier bit games, nothing too extravagant. But I do it.
Not an FPS. Like I can't be like it's happening every 2 seconds. Like I can't do that.
I mean, on Facebook, I had somebody go, put something that made. What is something in your childhood that made you feel rich? And I was like, I got the original Nintendo Entertainment System with Super Mario Duck Hunt and Track and Field with the map. When you had the track and field, you really felt special.
You were the cool kid in the neighborhood, man. Everybody wanted to come to your house.
It's like, okay, I'm old enough to remember like the original NES, Atari, and ColecoVision, and I'm calling my age out there. I am above 40, so I'll say that much.
Man, I still I don't know how we found these, but my dad and we found the little the Game Boy that looks kind of like a calculator, and then it has the little sun shield that goes up over the top and everything. Oh man, we found that, and I still have my original little square red Game Boy that just flipped. I still have all my I'm a little hoarder.
I don't have anything earlier than from Game Boy other than the Game Boy Advance, but I do still have my Game Boy and my Game Boy games, especially my Pokemon games.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And Pop Girl in the chat wants to know, what is your favorite part about conventions?
Ooh. This is gonna sound weird. I actually really love doing autograph signings. I really love people coming up and chatting. I don't know why. I do. I think it's really cute, and I like it. I don't know why. I mean, I like doing panels, but I don't like doing panels by myself. I like doing panels when they're with other people. So panels are dependent upon when I have other people to kind of bounce off of. If I'm just like, if it's kind of just like, okay, it's all in your hands now, go talk. And then I'm like, okay, but like when I'm up there and it's like, I have other actors up there, and it's like a panel for a show or something. That's fun, because then it's like we get to talk about a specific topic, and so I'm like, okay, I won't feel lost. And I have other people that it's like, if I'm like, I don't know what to talk about, they can jump in. But when I'm interacting with like fans and stuff, that's nice. I enjoy that.
I can agree, because there was a time before we had Darren on as a co-host. I think I went for a year and a half as the solo host, occasionally bringing on a guest co-host from time to time, which is partially how Darren got the co-host job, is because I was trying out a few different people I had in mind, and Darren and I just meshed really well together, both on the air and off. And but it's so much easier to have Darren here alongside, because we can throw, ideas and have a good conversation back and forth. When you have to sit there, whether it's 30 minutes or 2 hours by yourself and have to come up with content, it can be really stressful, and your brain will go just blank at times, and you'll be like, hi, welcome to the show.
On the entire time. And like, I guess I get so into the commentary mindset, which when we do commentary for shows, you go in the booth and they play the episode, and the rule is there cannot be more than 5 seconds of silence, or they stop it, they rewind, and they start again. And it's like, you have to keep talking the entire time. And so you're like, okay, let's do it. And so I get in that mindset when I go to cons, whenever I do panels, is I'm like, there can't be any silence. And so a lot of times I'll just find myself rambling, and it's just like, this is probably really embarrassing, but I just get in that no silence mindset.
And from a subject we were talking about earlier, George Atkinson, Darren, you might remember him. It's Karma. It's been a while since we've heard from Karma. He says, I can still remember the guest who turned your anime show into a counter interview about ghost hunting. And that was J. Michael Tatum. Was like, wait, you were a ghost hunter? I have questions for you.
That's awesome.
And then George also said, do the anime shows you do voice work for tend to be more than a year or less from the time they were first animated?
Oh, I think it sometimes depends. A lot of times, it seems like most of the time, we'll actually be doing somewhat of an in sync kind of thing. Like, we'll be a few episodes behind, or it'll be maybe they finished a few months ago. But I think the most that it'll probably be is maybe a couple years. It's very rare that we get one that's like, oh, this hasn't been dubbed for like 10 years or something like that. That's so rare. I mean,
Well,
that doesn't happen. It has, but
to love Rue.
Rare.
To love Rue, yeah.
Yeah, it's rare. Usually it's because people have been like, when is this happening? We need it to happen. Where is it? Like, but yeah, usually the case is that it's pretty quick turnaround.
Now, were you, according to Behind the Voice Actors, it's showing that you were Elizabeth Ashley in The Saint's magic power is omnipotent. Is that a true one? Because I didn't see it. Okay, I didn't see it on Anime News Network.
Yes.
But that was a fun show. I watched it all the way in Japanese and then started to rewatch it again once it was English dubbed. What was it like to be a part of that one?
It was a lot of Kyle. It was a lot of those moments of, dang it, Kyle! But I loved the show. It was so sweet. And I loved my little posh baby girl. She's such a sweet little bean. She just wants the best for everybody. She's so that like fashionable aunt who has all of the connections like all across the region. She's like, what is the lady from Bridgerton that like everybody knows? She's in the know for everyone. You guys probably won't know, but she's the in the know fashionable aunt that is like, I've got you, my sweet darling. Like she was great. Oh my god, I loved it. And I loved the friendship dynamic between Say and Elizabeth. I mean, like the little tea parties and the like, oh Say, like it was so cute. I was just like, this is like the quintessential like girl power friendship. I love it. It was great.
Because I remember watching it in Japanese before my wife had seen it, and I remember telling her, "You will love it. It is just like Snow White with the red hair. It even has the flip a table effect of you're waiting for something to happen. He likes her, she likes him. Just admit it." And you get those moments of it's gonna happen and something goes wrong, and you just want to be like, "No."
That's so true. That's very accurate. Yeah.
But in the same retrospect as Snow White with the red hair, it shows how a woman can be very empowered with not feel like I need the guy to lift me up. I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to do it my own way. If I have to be here, I'm going to make it my way. And it's a great show if you're looking for something that's wholesome. It's got a good romance. It's got a nice mix of comedy. Both shows really are high on my list of would you go back, rewatch it in a heartbeat. In fact, I want a season 2. So for the creators of The Saint's Magic Power is Omnipotent, we need a season 2. So get working on that, Japan, because I want more. We need more. They need to actually get together in season 2 and not leave everybody hanging.
Spoilers, God.
Sorry. They might have gotten back together. You never know. I could be just talking out of my butt. And let's see here in the chat. Pop Girl has a question for you saying, do you like any shows outside of anime, like Marvel or etc.?
I do. Okay. So yes, I love Marvel. I also I recently, because I have been running out of shows to watch. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. So I've just been like looking through the things I'm subscribed to. Like I'm sure all of us have been doing, like Disney Plus, Netflix. Like, oh my god, what haven't I watched? And recently I have watched The Owl House and Centaur World, which are 2 shows that I now hold like such a special place in my heart. The Owl House, I cannot recommend highly enough. It's got such a great plot line. It's got such amazing characters. If you haven't seen it, watch it. I really hope that they get some new episodes out soon because I am dying here. I am literally dying. Centaur World is, I think it's an acquired taste. It's probably not for everyone. The humor is probably not for everyone. It's pretty weird. It's it's that quirky, like adventure timey kind of humor, I think, that it's for people that are just like, that's funny. Like it's that kind of humor. But oh my god, the music, people, it's amazing. They have Broadway singers and actors that are playing these characters, and it is absolutely breathtaking. The music is breathtaking. And I come from a musical theater background, and so I was just like, what the heck? This music does not match like the tone of the show at all, but it's stunning. And so I actually bought the album. I was like, this is so good.
So she's waiting for the call from the producers to bring her on as a special guest.
Oh my god! But it's so funny, and like, the story is like weirdly like really gripping, and it's kind of dark, but like really like, whoa, oh my god. But it's so laced with comedy, that weird comedy that you're like, why is this funny? This is a really intense show. Like, but it's so well done. So yeah, Centaur World and the Owl House, watch them. They're so good. Oh my god.
And then there's me watching Lego Masters on Hulu. I love the creativity of like Lego Masters, and like Minecraft. I've called that the PC version of Lego, because you can destroy stuff and build anything. It's amazing the stuff that they've been able to create in like Minecraft. And on Lego Masters, it's like I never would have thought of using pieces how they do. And if you haven't seen Lego Masters yet, I recommend going and watching it. It is pretty entertaining. A lot of guest surprise superstars that show up. Will Arnett is the host. They also bring on 2 Lego Masters themselves, Jamie and Amy, who both are part of the Lego creative world, who come up with the ideas and create the kits that you can buy in the stores.
Oh, nice! That's so cool.
And it's fun. It's gripping. It's one of those reality TV game shows. The winner gets like, I think it was $100,000 for the winning team. And you see friends, you see father-son combinations. In season 1, they had 2 cosplayers.
Cool.
So it's and you get wrapped up and you start becoming fans of the different people. And Pop Girl says you can't go wrong with Legos.
Is that on Netflix or?
It's on Hulu.
Hulu. Okay.
And usually the episodes, like on Hulu, I think season 2 might have just ended. I'm not sure. I haven't watched it in a few weeks, so I'm far behind on that. I said Will Arnett is the main host of it and does a great job with that, making it fun and awkward at the same time, as a Lego Batman can do. And Death Metal has an interesting question here. It says, curious to ask, do you have autism or some sort of spectrum? He has Asperger's syndrome.
Not that I am aware of. I mean, I've never been tested. I do have ADHD. So a lot of that kind of like boom, 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 boom kind of thing that you are probably thinking, maybe is probably that. I don't take medication for it because I'm not currently doing things, or I don't have anything in my life right now where I feel like I need to be medicated. And so, I mean, I have medication because sure, things will come up where I do feel like maybe I do need to have that focus. But if I don't have things in my day, I don't plan to take my medication for that day. So, yeah.
And thank you, Death Metal, for the question. The fans out here, they have some interesting questions, and they get pretty deep with some of them. And thank you, keep them coming, because it helps us to think of ideas for future guests, things of that nature as well. And Pop Girl asks, have you ever gone to a convention in a different country?
I have. I went to Japan. It was crazy. I don't know what prompted it.
It wasn't Comic-Con, was it?
Sorry?
It wasn't Comic-Con, was it? The largest convention in the world?
No, it was not. But for some reason, they decided to invite a handful of English voice actors to come to Japan. And so we did, and it was amazing. And as we kind of expected, a lot of them didn't really know who we were. They thought it was really cool that they had a bunch of English actors there, but they didn't really know what our shows were or what our credits were because, of course, they were more interested in the J. And so, but I mean, we were so blessed to be there, and it was just amazing. And I kind of like, I spaced it to where I would have some time on each side of the con to kind of see Japan. And oh my God, it was just an absolute dream. I'm absolutely obsessed with the architecture, the culture, everything about Japan. And so I was thrilled to go.
What part of Japan were you in? Tokyo? Where were you?
Where were you at, Bryn?
Osaka.
Oh, okay.
And Japan is in like probably like if I can travel anywhere in the world, Japan is my number one. My wife wants to go to England and Wales and Scotland before going to Japan because her family history is through there. Mm-hmm. But she wants to go to Japan as well. Now, we know a lot of the voice actors like to collect figures of the characters that they voice. Mm-hmm. Are you one that likes to collect, like a coterie or the characters that you voice? Do you have a little collection in your house?
I do. I actually, I have some here at my apartment, but a lot of them I keep in my room at my parents because I just really my apartment is pretty small. So I have like this huge shelf that I have at my parents' house, and my parents don't live very far away. They live very, very close, and so I go there a few times a week, honestly. And so a lot of my figures live there. I'm sure my parents are like, great, but yeah.
You sound about like me. A lot of my stuff's still at my parents' house. I still ain't moved a lot of it into mine.
Yeah, Darren just recently bought his first house, so he's still in the transition of getting everything over.
Congrats! That's awesome.
Thank you.
And we've made reference of coterie up here quite a bit. I was actually tossed up about which character figure do I bring out, because I not only do I have coterie character that Bryn has voiced, I also have Yagyu from Senran Kagura.
That's awesome. Yeah, does she have her like?
She has the umbrella. Yep.
That's awesome.
And a fun little story about the Senran Kagura figure that I have, because a lot of you might remember the show, and a lot of you probably don't know that many years ago, when Senran Kagura had come out, we had a show where we had a guest cancellation, so we reached out to 2 people to come on the show. About coming on the show, and both of them were like, yeah, we'll come on. And so we had Bryn on for 1 hour, and I forget who the other voice actress was who came on for the other hour, and I'm trying to look back through let's see if I can find it here. Felicia Angel was the other one. And right after the show was over, I went on eBay. It was like, let's see what characters, or see what anime figures are out there. And I found a 2-pack of figures for Senran Kagura, which I got. And of course, the 2 figures were Bryn's character and Felicia's character.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Trying to tell you something.
And it was a reasonable price. And I'm like, you know what? I'm buying this.
I can't think of any other 2 characters that would have been paired for that show. It's like, yep, they would come to, yep.
Yeah, it was Asuka and, of course, Yagyu. So it was like, I have to get this because I think it was $40 for the pair. And I'm like, I need these. I just seen it. It was like, I just talked to the English voice actor of both of them. How can I pass this up? Looking through, see any other good questions in the chat here. You were talking about doing the streaming the gaming. We had this question for that. Have you heard of Genshin Impact? It's a PC game worth trying.
Have I heard of it? Yes, I have.
But how is anyone not with all the commercials they're running? I've even seen stuff on regular TV.
I know. Yes. Yeah. It's pretty. It's definitely made its mark. I'm debating giving it a try. I have a few others that I would like to do, but yeah, it's on my list. It definitely is.
And for all of you Fortnite fans out there, my best friend's son created this character named Joy, and she just got introduced into the game. So if you're curious about it, you can look it up. So a shameless plug for my best friend's son, David, who created a character for Fortnite. I know Fortnite is a huge game. I've never played it, but I know it's a huge game out there. I see a lot of people stream that as well. So I had to throw a shout out because I found out about that a couple weeks ago. And let's see here. We had Mario asks, have you ever had trouble getting back into a role after reprising for a role you did 5 to 10 years ago?
Yeah, I feel like sometimes it can be tricky. For example, with Day Day Live, I was like, they played me my reference. That's one thing. We always get a reference if it's been a long time, even if it hasn't been a long time, even if it's been like a week, they're like, here's your reference. So you always get to hear what you sounded like with the character the last time you were in the booth. So you can match pitch, you can match tone, and so you get the voice. But like, for example, with Day Day Live, I was 17 when I did the first season. I was not 17 when we got the second season. And so my voice had changed a little bit, and my acting style had changed a little bit. And I wasn't as super insecure and uncomfortable in front of the mic. And so that one was definitely a little bit harder. And it ended up, I feel like, sounding a little bit different. But that ended up being okay with me, because obviously Kotori would have been a little bit older. And obviously, I was pleased with how the second season turned out. She still sounded like her, but I feel like the reads were more solid. And we didn't see a lot of the like, oh my gosh, cutesy white ribbon Kotori. We saw a lot more of the black ribbons Commander Kotori. And so I feel like the stronger, more confident acting that I was doing were more indicative of what we were seeing anyway. And so it ended up being just fine. But another one was Krista from Attack on Titan. Again, first time I did Krista, I was like 17, 18. And then when we saw her again, I was not 17, 18. And so I didn't quite sound the same. But it ended up working out again because she was older, and we actually visibly saw that she had gotten older. The art style had changed a little bit. They'd aged up the characters. And so it ended up working out. And then she ends up having a complete character change. And so she just completely abandons the little Disney princess, like, guys, let's work together. Oh my gosh. And she's just like, I hate all of you. Just kidding. And like, I'm a tough B, and I ain't gonna take no S, and I'm here to rule the country, and I'm tough. And like, she's not actually like that. She's not all like aggressive. But I'm just kind of dramatizing it to give the change very drastic. But but yeah, so it was fine. It ended up being fine. But yeah, it can be hard when there's such a long time difference. But I feel like it really depends on what we see in that character. And you see that all the time in shows. Like, for example, if you look at Steven Universe or Adventure Time, if you look at season 1 and then you look at like season 4 or 5, they don't sound the same that they did from season 1. But that's okay because time has progressed in the show, and you don't really notice that if you're watching it episode to episode to episode to episode to episode. You notice it if you go episode 1, episode 102. Like, you're not supposed to do that, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it really depends. So if you look at it as an actual natural character development, no, it's fine.
Now, a show like Data Live, I know it's had a few different directors from season to season to season. With Anthony, I think it was Anthony Bowling directed season 3. As an actor, is it a bit of a learning curve to learn each different director's style on top of remembering the character that you voiced?
I think that when a director gets a show that was previously handled by another director, they really do try to do their best to honor the director's style from season 1. And I mean, obviously it's going to have a lot of their own flair in the new season. But I feel like as actors, we're pretty much set in our character. And especially when we get back into it, we have our acting styles, and that's going to be the same for regardless, unless it's been like that big time jump. That's going to be the same regardless of who is directing us, unless they're giving us really, really heavy direction for like a specific cue. Like, for example, if we get a line read, then yeah, it's going to sound like that director. But most directors are going to know that the actor knows what they're doing, and they're going to, they chose that actor for a reason. Yeah. They like what they're doing with that character. And so it's going to be a lot more of us feeling comfortable in our character, and it's going to be pretty consistent.
And I have to throw Anthony under the bus a little bit. We did do a Data Live special a few years ago, right after season 3 came out, and we had Megan Shipman on. We had Caitlin Barr, I think it was, the voice of Natsume. And Anthony Bowling was supposed to join us. He forgot his phone in the car and joined a half hour late.
No!
So the first half hour was Caitlin and Megan being like, Anthony did a great job. Like, they were talking him up, and he heard none of it because his phone was in the car. And then when he came on, it turned into a bash Anthony session for like 10 minutes.
Yep.
If you're watching, I'm sorry, Anthony. You know, the fun stuff that happened. Well, I said, not really, but I'm sure if he's watching, I'll get flack at the end of September when he comes on here. And but it's great to see the chemistry that you guys have, because I know when it comes to recording in Japan, a lot of times the voice actors, before pandemic, all the voice actors a lot of times were in the same room to record and play off each other, where for you guys, you go in the booth, then maybe Megan goes in the booth, or another person goes in the booth, so you're not able to play off each other in time. You have to kind of meld into what's going on in the scene. So the most time you guys get to interact is a party, conventions, things of that nature. And from the stories I've heard, you guys get along really well. And I love the fact that you guys are so supportive of each other. Because I know growing up in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, you heard the horror stories of actors out of Hollywood. being like, it's a cutthroat business. You want to get as many roles and kick people out of those roles. And you guys are like, you got that role. That's awesome. So it really, I love the voice acting community with how supportive you guys are. And really, you all are amazing people. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank each and every person who has been a guest on the show, including you, Bryn, for I think this is your 4th appearance with us. And really, I like the fact that you take time out of your busy schedule to hang out with us. I know it means a lot to our fans. It means a lot to me.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I've had such a blast. I mean, this is awesome. And I'm so glad I got to actually see you. I mean, that's so exciting.
And for those of you who are curious, Bryn is our first voice actor guest since we switched solely to YouTube. So we've had a lot of firsts here since the start of August, because August 1st was our first official show on YouTube. Darren and I do plan on eventually having shows occasionally where we just talk anime and stuff, but we've been loving having the guests coming on for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And and the fact that we have such an active chat room, I can't say it enough to all of you out there who are watching tonight. Thank you for the questions that are coming in. Come back every week, not just when we have the voice actors, because we love the community of conventions. We support everybody. Since we have switched over or basically since we started, we bring on cosplayers, we bring on artists, we bring on musicians and gamers. We've had J-pop artists. We've had recording studios. We had Bang Zoom on the show in the past. So, keep coming back. You never know who we're going to have. Like I said, September 19th, we have Macy Ann Johnson coming back on the show. She was the voice of Hawan, which ironically, so surrounding Kineticon, we have Show by Rock well representative between Cyan and Hawan, the 2 main characters of Show by Rock and Show by Rock Mashimaresh. Of course, Anthony Bowling on the 26th. October 3rd, we have another international guest. Our friend Sophia Copen from the UK is going to be joining us to talk about what anime is like in England. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I love hearing about what it's like for people outside of the US. We know what it's like because we live here. But what is it like for the fans in other countries to get access to the anime and the merchandise and stuff? So it's going to be fun to get a different point of view. And then October 10th, we have Godswell's going to be joining us along with some other special guests potentially. I think Mario Bueno may be coming back on with us. You never know who else is going to be joining. So definitely you want to tune in. October 17th, is a Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid special. So if you are a fan of that franchise, we have Christy Rothrock has confirmed for the show. So we will have Ilulu joining us. And we are waiting to hear back from a few other potential guests. We've put some invites out. Bryn, I think you were in Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, weren't you?
Yes, just as a little bit part though.
What was it like to be a part of, even with a bit part, what was it like to be a part of the franchise of Miss Kobayashi, especially with the history the studio had, where they had the arson and then they came back so strong with a season 2, and season 2 started with a bang. I don't know if you've been following it or not, but they came back strong. Like, we got knocked down, but we're definitely not out.
Yeah, I mean, and to see the community that just absolutely loves the show. I mean, I can't think of a single con that I've gone to where I haven't just seen like a swarm of cosplayers for that show. I mean, there's just such love for the studio, for the show. It's really amazing. It really, really is. And
you said you had a little bit part in there, just kind of a walk-on character, or?
Yes, it was. When we recorded it, she wasn't named. But it's the little sweet like redhead girl that comes and I don't think she comes back. I think it's just a one-time recurrence where I'm pretty sure I don't know though, because I interacted with a cosplayer once that said that she is named and that she does, like, she comes in a couple times, and then I was like, did I remember this entire recording session wrong? Like, I could, and I trusted her. I was like, I'm gonna believe that you know this better than I do, because I recorded this like a year ago, and so it's entirely possible that you have this correct. Because when I recorded it, her name was just girl, but it wasn't like girl 1A or girl what. It was girl, and so she was like a specific girl, and she was just very determined to be her friend, and so I mean, and it seemed to be like a very big turning point for her. And so I don't know, maybe she is like an important character, but like we just don't know it yet. And so as of right now, she is just girl, but like maybe she becomes like a named character later. I don't know.
Possibly. And of course, here is the other one who got jealous that my sister got camera time, so I have to come up. So this.
Hello.
So for those of you who are curious, this is Eins Ulgon, of course named after Overlord. And when it comes to naming pets, Haru was easy. We had her name picked out before we even got her. For Eins, we had him for about 6 hours before my wife and I decided on his name, because he was very mild, very, he was he was found in the wild as part of a litter, was put in foster care, didn't trust humans, things like that. So he's very back offish, very skittish. So very opposite Eins Ulgonish. And so as a joke, we're like, let's just call him Eins, my wife said. And I was like, yes. And the name just stuck.
Into it.
And the comments coming in, Overlord is such a good show. And a funny little story is when we showed the picture of Eins on the Facebook page and said, "This welcome our new member Eins," Megan Shipman said, "My Lord." and just seeing that comment was like, we made the right decision, because one of my favorite characters from Overlord, Mare Bellafiore, was like approved of Eins. It's like, yes. Okay.
So cute.
Now God, I got sidetracked. And you know that way back when we first had Bryn on the show, I lived in Massachusetts, and instead of a window behind me, I had a window beside me. And Bryn knows I suffer from shiny object syndrome. So I get, it's like squirrel, I think one time there was a squirrel outside the window while I was on the air, and I announced it. So, so it's like, okay, my brain just went.
Really?
And I'm looking through the list of shows. Of course, we were talking a little, I think it was before we came on the air, about if my favorite pop idol made it to the Budokan, I would die. You voiced Mina on that, which was the main focus of the main character. Like that, she was one of only 2 fans of your character. What was it like to be like this quiet, I stand in the back row, nobody ever notices me, every other girl has all these people in line and I have her.
It was relatable. Us wallflowers, we know the struggle. I mean, she was so cute, and honestly, like, I loved the dynamic between the 2 of them. It was so sweet. And then, like, just like we were saying, for oh my god, it's another one of those shows where you're just like, you're waiting for something to happen, and then you're just like, what the heck? Like, so many times you're like, they're gonna get together and it's gonna be beautiful and you're gonna wow, and then goodbye, and you're just like,
And you're like,
okay, that's fine, I didn't want it anyway. Like, it's such a it drives you mad. It's Right, it's a table flip. It's a table flip anime. That's what you said. It's
Table flip. And Pop Girl has a fun question here. What one of your characters would you like to have a pop figure of?
Ooh,
I know, it's like asking your favorite child, you know?
I think a Shirahoshi pop figure would be really pretty. And I've never seen a mermaid pop figure. I think that would be interesting. But honestly, I'm going to go with that. I'm not going to overcomplicate it because I just want to see how it would be done because it has to stand. And so I'm like, tail, how would you like I want to see how it would look because I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah. What anime was that from? I don't know if I remember that character.
One Piece.
One Piece. Okay, so that's why I don't know. I've never seen One Piece.
I mean, man, that's a rabbit hole. Like you either choose to jump in or you don't. I mean, it's a commitment.
I'm one of those people where, you know, we all have busy lives. Not some people can follow those long franchises. I've never seen One Piece. I've never seen an episode of Dragon Ball, of Bleach, Naruto. I've never seen any episodes of any of those animes because I know they are going forever. And I don't have the time to sit down and watch them. My wife just picked one of them back up. Was like, oh, I'm on episode 368 now. I'm like, good for you. I dropped Fairy Tail after about 120 episodes.
So proud of your dedication. That's awesome. But like, but me.
I lost interest in, and bash me if you will. I lost interest in My Hero Academia in season 4.
I mean, it is a commitment. It's just why it's overwhelming. You look at it and it is overwhelming. You're like, I am in for a ride. Like,
oh yeah.
Am I getting on or not? Like,
now I'm curious with the way anime has been going. You know, it seems like there's always every decade they have the dominant anime, whether it's you see a overabundance of mecha shows or harem shows. Right now, it's isekai. Are you a fan? Are you like me and Darren, part of the isekai trash? Like, we can't get enough of these shows. Even if we say, okay, we're not going to watch an isekai this season, by halfway through, you're watching 3.
I think they can either be done really well or they can be done very cliche. And when they're done really well, I love it. When they're done where it's like cookie cutter, I'm like, well, I would rather go watch a good one. Like it's just, you know, I could take it or leave it. It's the good ones, yes. Keep them, like make them here to stay. It's awesome. But like the ones that are just like, wow, haven't been here before, like then I'd take it or leave it.
Look, it's the same storyline, only this time the main character is a professional wrestler.
I mean, it's
not making fun of because I've watched that whole show. Just throwing it out there of, you know, cookie cutter shows. Of course, this season I've been watching, you know, Drugstore in Another World, which if you just said drugstore or something like that, you would have no idea that it was technically isekai because nothing about it says isekai. There's no transition from one world into another. It's just, its story starts out, you're in this world, you have this pharmacist, you have adorable characters, you've got this the whole reason I watch is because I like that wolf girl is cute. Who is she and why is she a part of the show? And and you were talking about good ones. The Saint's magic power is omnipotent. That's an isekai, but my God, that doesn't have the feeling of an isekai after episode 1, and it's so good.
Right, exactly.
Those are the good isekais. The ones where you're like, oh, look, he's in another world. Oh, look, he sneezes and kills 35 people. Ooh. I think we've seen this 584 times.
Ooh, he gets all the girls because he's different and daring, except he's not really. It's just, you're just kind of like,
And then when you think back of like the meaning of the isekai genre and you look back through history, it's like, God, I was an Inuyasha fan. That's technically an isekai.
Yeah, right.
The Devil is a Part-Timer. That was a reverse isekai. Oh my God. But that was so good. I'm so happy to have a season 2 finally coming out after like 7-10 years.
I know.
Thank you.
That's crazy. But I mean, I think that that's the thing. It's they're not just focused on isekai tropes. They're like, but let's have a plot. How about that? Like, it's
and that was the pre-isekai boom. Those shows.
Yeah.
And then we have Cautious Hero talking about isekais. That was actually fun to watch. Just because of, the main character was overpowered, but you had to get through the whole thing to find out why he was the way he was. And this storyline in that was a lot darker than I expected it to be as it progressed. When you find out why the main character is overly cautious, it's like, man, that whole series now makes sense. And you only find that out like episode 11 and 12. But it was a pretty good show. Now, I know that we're almost out of time here, and I thank you so much for hanging out with us for 2 hours, or almost 2 hours. It's, like I said, really from the bottom of my heart, thank you for coming on, hanging out with us. Do you have any upcoming conventions or any shows that you want to plug? Of course, feel free to plug your Twitch channel that you're going to be streaming games on soon, and tonight's about you. Feel free to tell everybody where they can find you and what shows you have coming up, conventions and stuff.
I am absolutely horrible about social media. I have a Twitter. It's at Bryn_Apprill. And that is where I will be doing a poll to decide upon the name for my Twitch channel. I have a few that I've been bumping around in my head, and I need all of you to help me decide upon what the final name is going to be. So we'll be doing that in a few days. And then I'll post when I am finally up and streaming. And if you are a fan of Zombieland Saga, definitely make sure to check out the season 2 that is airing right now. And in regards to cons, I have one coming up in December that should be putting out announcements pretty soon. So yeah, that's about it.
I've got to reach out to some of the local cons because I know that we have one coming up in October and they've only announced like 2 guests for it. And usually they have like 8-10 voice actors. It's like, can you bring Bryn up here? We want to get her to the Northeast.
I mean, I know right now is pretty hard, especially with everything that's going on, and a lot of people aren't doing like flights. They're trying to at least keep like either online or limited numbers or just
Oh yeah. And I know that I've talked a lot about Kineticon that's coming up next weekend. They did have a couple of guest cancellations, including our Bruce Elliott, Carlos Alaquazi. Sorry if I mispronounced the name. I'm horrible with some of the names. For those of you who are interested in attending, they still have an amazing lineup of guests. Looking through John St. John, Catherine Cavadini is going to be there from the anime world that I know they're definitely anime world, is Sunny Strait, Sarah Wiedenheft, Leah Clark, Derek Snow, Monica Rial, Martha Harms, Aaron Roberts, Austin Tyndall, Elizabeth Maxwell, Caitlin Glass, Aaron Dismuke, Erica Schroeder. Of course, you have all the original Ninja Turtles are going to be there with Rob Paulson, Barry Gordon, Townsend Coleman, Cam Clark. Alexis Tipton is going to be there. Jeremy Inman, Josh Greeley, Ian Sinclair, Eric Vale, Todd Habercorn, George Lowe is going to be there, and Billy West. So they have an amazing lineup of talent that are still going to be going as of right now. Of course, things can change between now and then. You never know what's going to happen. But, of course, look for us with Anime-Zing Radio, where you're going to be walking around. My wife is going to be cosplaying Sylvie from How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. So cute little rabbit girl. She's also is going to be in judging for the masquerade. Don't know if she's actually going to go across stage or not. Of course, a big thank you to our sponsors, Home Circle Media and Casey Fox, for supporting us for all these years. If this is your first time seeing us, the show is not new. We've been doing this for about 7.5 years. I mentioned earlier, this is Bryn's 4th appearance with us at least, and we always love having her on. Of course, things went crazy for a while, so we lost contact because of work and life, and Bryn and I were talking before coming on the air. I think the last time she had joined us was about 4 years ago, when we told her that my wife was pregnant and that we used her name as inspiration for my daughter's middle name. And I remember the scream you did because my wife was across the room. I had headphones on and she could hear it.
Oh no!
And she's like, I think she was excited. I think she was excited about that. I'm like, yeah.
Your poor ears.
Oh, it's all good. Because through doing a show like this, I have developed such a respect for the work that you guys do, and getting to know more about what it's like in the booth. I have no acting experience. I've got no voice acting experience. The closest thing I do to anything like that is coming on the air and talking for 2 hours every week. And sometimes we have the spin-offs now, since switching to YouTube, that we've been trying to record here and there. But getting to know more about you as a person, about your career, watching the growth and everything, it's been a pleasure to not just be a fan of yours through this all, but develop the friendship and stuff that we've developed over the years. And really, I'm so happy to see the success that you've had since we've found this adorable little Kotori Itsuka way back in 2014.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, I'm so honored to be able to know people like you. It's so wonderful, like, that you do stuff like this, and that you give us this medium to be able to talk to people and to kind of show this side of ourselves that we don't really get to express. And it's so exciting to see you and to get to know people like you. I mean, you're just absolutely wonderful, and you put us so at ease when we do these interviews, and it really allows us to answer these questions and to talk about ourselves and our work and really feel comfortable doing so. And I so appreciate that.
And for somebody like me, like I said before, it's fun to be able to talk with you guys, get to know you. And I want to, and a lot of fans out there may notice, I don't ask the questions of, oh, how do you become a voice actor? Because I know as a voice actor, you get asked, there are certain questions you get asked multiple times a convention, let alone, throughout your career. And people it's fine to ask those questions when they see you in person. I want to get beyond the normal questions of voice acting. I want to find out, a little bit more about the personality. What was it like to voice Kotori, way back when, and compared to now? And we want to get a little bit more in depth, and a show like this, we do improv. For those of you out there watching, I do not have a set question list. Some shows that you may watch, some podcasts you may listen to, where there's an interview, I've been asked, do you have a list of questions for our guest so that they can prepare an answer? No. I've been improv since I started because I feel you have more of a genuine conversation this way. You get to see our pure emotions as things happen. Nothing is scripted. It's not, at this point in the interview, you must, and I've seen it. And the fans out there are smart. You guys out there watching us, when something looks scripted as opposed to when it's natural. Bryn Apprill as a voice actress and an actress is different from Bryn Apprill as a guest on the show here, because we're getting to see the true Bryn Apprill. There's no acting. There's no, she's going into some of the voices of the amazing characters that she's done for us, which we love. As fans, I know all of you out there love when you get to hear her do Kochiri or Yagyu or, Zombieland Saga. What was her name in Zombieland Saga again? I forgot. I, or when you get to hear her say as I. And we all love it as fans, but I think it's more important to the fans out there to get to know our guests as people. I've seen many a times that some of the more well-known voice actors, and I won't name names, but I've seen social media accounts where they're like, I wish people would get to know me, not just the character I voiced. So I want to give you guys the platform so people get to know you, because it's I feel that's important that people get to know Bryn Apprill, not just Yagyu or Ifrit or I or whichever amazing character that you voiced.
Right. And I so appreciate that. I really, really do.
And I want the fans out there to know I don't do this like, we're still a small show, even though I've been doing it for 7.5 years. This is something that we've done off of the love of anime, wanting to give back to a community that helped me get through a hard time. I know a lot of anime fans turn to anime to help them get through many different types of issues, everything from anxiety to being bullied or something is bad in your life. I turned to anime to get me through a messy divorce. And that's basically what started the show, was wanting to give back to the community because the community helped me get through a tough time. So if we can make one person's day, then we've done our job. If we've entertained one person out there, that's why I said I love seeing such an active chat room. I'm seeing that we have like 6 viewers on here now. I've seen it in the double digits a couple of times tonight. I love seeing the interaction. Come back for more. I thrive off the energy that you all give me. And, here comes a question that just popped in now. I'll get to that in just a minute. I just want to finish my thought before I get sidetracked. But really, subscribe to the channel. We love our fans. We love giving back to the fans. Darren started as a fan. Mario, who in the chat room, who had a couple of questions, he's a fan. He's been with us since early on. He's been a guest on the show. We love talking anime with people. We love the fans. We love doing giveaways. Like I said, we hit 200 subscribers, and the faster we do that, the faster we can get one of you lucky viewers out there as a guest co-host on the show to interview. Maybe Bryn down the road. Maybe it'll be Macy Ann Johnson in 2 weeks or Anthony Bowling in 3. You never know. Also, look for us at conventions, because we love doing the giveaways, especially for the charity auctions, to have one lucky person from there to come on as a co-host for voice actors. We've done that with Anime-Zing, I think 3 or 4 years in a row at their charity auction. We've had people come on, interview Caitlin French, interview Megan Shipman and whatnot. So we love connecting the voice actors with their fans. And before we run out of time, we're going to get one last question from Pop Girl. It says, this question is not anime related, but is there any sports that you're a fan of?
This is weird because I was actually watching it last night. Yes, I am weirdly kind of a fan of MMA. I really like it. I don't know why. I wish that I could do it. I wish I had that kind of training. Maybe someday. I'll do some like judo training, some Krav Maga and stuff like that. I know a little bit of Krav Maga, not a lot. I should probably get back on that. But I just know some basics. But I really enjoy it. I don't know why. I had ski instructor one time. And, she was the mother of Holly Holmes. And if you don't know who that is, she is the fighter who beat Ronda Rousey. And so I thought that was kind of cool. And I was like, that's awesome. So yeah, I really enjoy it. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but I do.
I'm not huge into the MMA and UFC and stuff like that, but because of my brother-in-law, he's like, oh, we went down to visit. He was like, oh, you got to get a DraftKings account, and I'll tell you who to bet on for the fights this night. And it started becoming a thing where for about a month and a half, like every Saturday night, I was betting on the fights, and I actually did pretty good one time. It was like it was $1 bet, and I won like $15. It's like, man, if I had bet $10, I would have hit like over 1,000.
Oh, nice.
I was like, if I actually did really good on this one fight, but it was one fight, but it was once out of like 8 attempts. So I still have fun with DraftKings. I'm not promoting gambling or anything like that. It's something I do for fun. But it's funny that Pop Girl brings that up because today we had our fantasy football draft, and I figured I know who Pop Girl is because she's in our league.
I used to do that with my dad, but I know nothing about football. I was just like,
this is how prepared I was for the draft today. With my wife working on cosplay, I had to draft her team. I had to draft my team. I have not seen an entire football game live in over 2 years. So since before I moved from Massachusetts to New York, I don't know who's playing for who anymore outside of, okay, I know Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski are with Tampa Bay because I'm from Massachusetts. My grandfather used to be security guard for years at Foxborough Stadium. So of course I've got Patriots in the blood. And for those Patriots haters out there, I was a fan of the Patriots in the 80s with Steve Grogan when we sucked. I'm not a fair weather fan of the Patriots. Win, lose, or draw, I'm still a Pats fan no matter where I go. I'll say that right now. I'm not going to jump ship because they're going to be horrible with a rookie quarterback this year. And yes, I did draft him as my third quarterback, for those of you wondering. And the thing that gave it away for who Pop Girl was, said I play American football and I love the Buffalo Bills. So I'm like, yep, I know who you are. And she says boo to having the being the Pats fan. And we got like a minute and a half left here, 2 minutes. So one last question. Do you have a favorite husbando in anime?
Yes. And this is why my interaction with Brandon Potter was so uncomfortable. I absolutely adore Harima from School Rumble. I think he is the cutest little baby boy, and nothing ever seems to go his way. But yes, it is time for the badass to get the girl. Oh my God, he's the cutest little baby, and I love him so much. He's the stupidest baby boy. He's so stupid. And all the time I'm like, oh baby, you're so stupid. But he's so cute. And I just want good things for him. But he's so stupid. And I'm just like, no.
And he really wants Tenma, who wants the other guy who wants nothing to do with her.
But he has no idea because he's just like, yes, today is the day. And I'm just like, today's your day, okay. I just want good things. He deserves good things.
Once again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight to Anime-Zing Radio here on YouTube. I'm getting better about not screwing up because for 6 years I was saying Blog Talk Radio. So I'm getting better. It took a little bit from the transition. This is our third different network we've been a part of. We started off on Hazy Radio way back when we started the show on April 6th of 2014. Then we moved to Blog Talk for many years, and now we're here on what hopefully is our final home on YouTube. where I love the video format. It's so much easier to connect with the guests. I think this opens a lot more opportunities. I love the active chat room. Thank you to everybody who's been tuning in tonight. Thank you for the awesome questions. Of course, thank you to our sponsors, Home Circle Media and Casey Fox, who have supported us for so many years. Thank you to our co-host, Darren, who has stepped away due to a busy schedule and stuff. I think he has had some things he has to take care of, so I think he stepped away from the mic for a bit. Of course, a big thank you, Bryn, for joining us for 2 hours. I know it was a little bit different format from the last few times you've been on, but I think this is going to work out better for us in the long run.
No, thank you so much for having me. This was a blast. I loved it.
So until 2 weeks, I don't know what we're going to have up for. I can't say that we will definitely be live next weekend at Kineticon. That's going to depend on internet connections, how well the laptop works with StreamYard, our broadcaster, and everything. We may do some recording from there and put it up later, but we will have coverage coming up from Kineticon in the coming weeks, if not definitely next weekend. But 2 weeks from now, we will have Macy Ann Johnson on the show and chatting with her about Hawan and all the other amazing characters that she has voiced. Of course, the 26th, as I said, Anthony Bowling's going to be joining us, so we have more harassment of Anthony. You definitely want to tune in for that because we've had Anthony on the show a lot as well, and we have never met in person either. I feel bad because we were supposed to meet him at Anime-Zing 4 years ago, but it was 6 days after my daughter was born. So for obvious reasons, we couldn't really make it.
You should have him bring Ted Spooky.
Well, we harassed him about when I think it was Jeremy Inman busted in on him during a recording session. Was like, "Do you like eggs? Do you like scrambled eggs? Yeah. Do you like scrambled eggs with cheese?" Like, because Jeremy's like had his whole thing planned, and then when he opened the door, his mind would blank. Because that's how Jeremy and Anthony are. They just harass you. Like, Jeremy picks on Anthony horrible.
Accurate.
So until 2 weeks from now, when we come back with another live show for Anime-Zing Radio, thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you all have a wonderful couple of weeks. For those of you we see at Kineticon, don't be afraid to come up and say hi. I love to meet the fans. I love talking with you guys. You know, if it wasn't for the fans, we wouldn't be doing this for 7.5 years. So until September 19th, when we're joined by Macy Ann Johnson, have a wonderful couple of weeks and stay safe. Enjoy anime.